the early church was the Catholic Church. Tell us something that maybe we don't know about the earliest Christianity.
One of the things that's really remarkable is that by 107, you have St. Ignatius of Antioch saying that you don't have a church without all three orders, bishop, priest, or he says presbyter, and deacon. And so one of the reasons that's really striking is that a lot of Protestants don't think that there were bishops in the early church that early. And a lot of Protestants think that every church kind of did whatever it wanted in terms of local governance. And neither of those things are true, that there were bishops from as far back as we can find, and that the early Christians didn't view the church governance or the church structure as something that was left up to the people or the local community to decide, but it was rather the kind of thing that they received from the apostles and pass on. That is, I think, very different from a lot of people's conception of what early Christianity was like.
That's 94 years after the resurrection of the Lord.
But it's about 7 years after the death of the Apostle John.
Oh, yeah. So 7 years after the death of the Apostle John, you have bishops, priests, and deacons.
And I mean, you have that before, but the difficulty is in terms of first century evidence. There's a lot less first century evidence than there is second century evidence. Even the first century evidence we do have, there are often big scholarly debates about whether it's actually first century or whether it's from slightly later. So trying to prove here's what they said in the first century is a little trickier. Proving here's what they said in the first decade of the second century, that's basically undeniable at this point. This evidence is so Catholic. The example I like to give is that John Calvin argued that this was a Catholic forgery, and scholars today now realize that's not true. And in fact, a lot of Protestant scholars were the ones who authenticated Ignatius's letters here, so that we know this isn't some, but they are such Catholic letters that it seems like the kind of thing you would make up to rebut Protestantism.
Right. Yeah. If a Catholic was going to forge a letter, it would look like this from the year 107, or it would look like these. Yeah. Okay. So, but it turns out not forgeries. They are in fact very, very ancient letters of the Catholic Church.
Exactly.